Hello, welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English. Today we're going to learn to avoid some important mistakes, so let's get started. First, this is not correct.
I would definitely recommend you to buy this 5-inch binder.
I cannot say I would definitely recommend you to buy this 5-inch binder. Why not? Because recommend is special. After recommend, we have to use a different structure. We can say, I recommend that you buy this 5-inch binder. And that is optional. So I can say, I recommend you buy this 5-inch binder. Or I can eliminate the person, you, and I can say, I recommend buying, changing the verb with ing. I recommend buying this 5-inch binder. But it's not correct to say, I recommend you to buy. We have to use a different structure with recommend. Let's practice. Do you recommend buying this binder? That's right. I recommend buying this binder. Do you recommend that I buy this 5-inch binder? That's right. I recommend that you buy this 5-inch binder. This is also not correct.
I highly recommend you to watch it.
It's not correct to say, I highly recommend you to watch it. Remember, after recommend, we need a different structure. So you can say, I highly recommend that you watch it. Or I can eliminate that. It's optional. I can say, I highly recommend you watch it. Or I can eliminate the person you and say, I highly recommend watching it, changing the verb with ing. I highly recommend watching it. Example, this is a great movie. Do you highly recommend watching it? That's right. I highly recommend watching it. Do you highly recommend that I watch it? That's right. I highly recommend that you watch it. So, for a complete explanation to this structure and to practice more with it, keep watching. So, what's the best way to use recommend? Well, the best way is to use a gerund. That's an action or a verb with ing at the end. Example, I recommend practicing English every day. There's no other person. I cannot say, I recommend you practicing. It's just one person, me. I recommend this activity. I use gerund to express the activity. I recommend practicing English every day. So, example, I recommend practicing English every day. I can change the action recommend if it's he or she. He recommends. He recommends practicing English every day. Or she. She recommends exercising every day. You can also change recommend to the past. Recommended. He recommended exercising every day. And remember, you cannot say he recommended me exercising. There's no other person. It's just the activity you're talking about. He recommended exercising every day. Let's practice. Do you recommend practicing English every day?
Yes, I recommend practicing English every day.
Does she recommend practicing English every day? That's right. She recommends practicing English every day. Very good. Let's practice in the past. What did your doctor recommend?
He recommended exercising every day.
Did her doctor recommend exercising every day? That's right. Her doctor recommended exercising every day. Very good. Now let's practice with recommend if you have another person. For example, my doctor recommended me. We cannot say me. The only time you can say me is if somebody recommended me for the job. If I am the object or I am the thing that is recommended. He recommended me for the job. But in the example my doctor recommended, I cannot say me. I say I. My doctor recommended I exercise. So we have the person I. We have the action in a simple form, exercise. My doctor recommended I exercise. Why do we say I? Because there's a connector. That. It's an optional connector. You don't have to use it. But you can use it. It makes it easier. My doctor recommended that I exercise more. So remember, you can use the connector that for two ideas. You have the first person I and a simple action. My doctor recommended that I exercise more. Or you can eliminate that. It's optional. My doctor recommended I exercise more is correct. What if the other person is a he or a she? For example, my brother. His doctor recommended that he. I cannot say his doctor recommended him to exercise. I cannot use to in any situation. We use just a simple action. Talking about my brother. His doctor recommended that he exercise. That's right, it's a simple action. I don't change it like he exercises. He exercises is a routine. He exercises sometimes every day. I am not expressing a routine. I'm expressing an action that may or may not happen. So I don't change the action at all. It's always in a simple form. Exercise. So talking about my brother, his doctor recommended that he exercise every day. Exercise in a simple form. What about past? You say recommended. Why not exercised? No, we do not change it to past. It's always in a simple form in this structure. So whether it's present, his doctor recommends, or if it's past, his doctor recommended. The action is always in a simple form with no change. Don't change it to past and don't change it with S for he and she. So again, the example, his doctor recommended that he exercise every day. It is not correct, my doctor recommended that I have to exercise. It is not correct, my doctor recommended that I need to exercise. It is not correct, my doctor recommended that I should exercise. Only, my doctor recommended that I exercise every day. Only the simple action is necessary. And remember, the connector that is optional. My doctor recommended I exercise, or my doctor recommended that I exercise every day. What if you have a negative idea? For example, my doctor recommended that I not eat sweets. That's right, we use the negative not only. Not don't, only not. So it is not correct, my doctor recommended that I don't eat. You have to say, my doctor recommended that I not eat sweets. Now this is a difficult structure and it sounds very strange. So if you don't want to use it, you can say it a different way. You can just use a positive action, avoid. My doctor recommended that I avoid sweets. Easier. And one more thing about this structure. What if the verb is to be? For example, the teacher recommended that we are quiet. I cannot use are. I'm going to use a different form. Be. That's right, just be. And not to be, just the verb be alone. So example, our teacher recommended that we be quiet. That's right. She recommended that we be very quiet. Example, the teacher recommended that we be on time. Not we are on time. We use only the verb be. The teacher recommended that we be on time. And if you want to talk about the negative, she recommended that we not be late. Again, she recommended that we not be late. Let's practice. What did your doctor recommend?
He recommended that I exercise every day.
What did her doctor recommend? That's right. Her doctor recommended that she exercise every day. Very good. Let's practice. What does your husband recommend?
He recommends I eat healthier.
What does her husband recommend? That's right. He recommends that she eat healthier. Very good. Let's practice. What did your friend recommend?
She recommended that we try that restaurant.
What did her friend recommend? That's right. She recommended that we try that restaurant. Very good. Let's practice. Do they recommend that we arrive early?
Yes, they recommend that we arrive early.
Do they recommend that we arrive early? Very good. That's right. They recommend that we arrive early. An example. If I say they recommend you, you can use you to talk about any person. For example, they recommend that you exercise daily. Let's practice. Do they recommend that you exercise daily?
Yes, they recommend that you exercise daily.
Do they recommend that you exercise daily? That's right. They recommend that you exercise daily. And that recommendation is for everybody. Let's practice. What did your trainer recommend?
He recommended that I not eat sweets.
What did her trainer recommend? That's right. Her trainer recommended that she not eat sweets. Very good. Let's practice. Did your trainer recommend that you avoid eating sweets?
Yeah, he recommended that I avoid eating sweets.
Did her trainer recommend that she avoid eating sweets? Very good, that's right. Her trainer recommended that she avoid eating sweets. Let's practice. Does their teacher recommend that they be on time?
Yes, their teacher recommends that they be on time.
Does their teacher recommend that they be on time? That's right. Their teacher recommends that they be on time. Let's practice. Does their teacher recommend that they not be late on the first day?
Yes, she recommends that they not be late on their first day.
Does their teacher recommend that they not be late on the first day? That's right. The teacher recommends that they not be late on the first day. Very good. So let's review all the rules when using recommend. The first is use a gerund. It's easier. And you can use it when the person is not important. It's just the activity that's important. For example, he recommends exercising every day. But if the person is important, then remember, don't use me, don't use him. You start a new idea and you use I, he or she, they, and we. So, he recommends that we exercise, or he recommends that I exercise. And remember, the connector that is optional. You don't have to use it. But I recommend using it because it's going to make it easier to use this structure correctly. So, my doctor recommended that I exercise every day. What if you talk about a he or a she? His doctor recommends that he exercise. Remember, don't change the action for he and she. And don't change the action for past. It's always in a simple present form. Example, he recommended that I exercise. Recommended is in the past, but exercise is always in the present. And if it's negative, use not. He recommended that I not eat sweets. And if your action is to be, use be only. She recommended that we be on time. Or if it's negative, she recommended that we not be late. And also remember, don't use need to, have to, or should. Just use the action. You cannot say, he recommended that I have to be on time. No have to, no should, and no need to. Today we're talking about 4 actions. Recommend, suggest, demand, and insist. When I hear my advanced students speak in my classes, this is the most common mistake. This is also the craziest structure in English. It breaks every rule, and we're going to talk about those rules and practice with the structure. A common mistake I hear is, my doctor recommended me to exercise. This is not correct. In this structure, recommend, we have a new idea with the connector that. That is your connector for 2 complete ideas. So correct, my doctor recommended that I exercise. We cannot use me, we use I. For all people, we can't say I recommend her, it's I recommend that she exercise. I recommend that he exercise. I recommend that they exercise. The doctor recommended that we exercise. Now, the connector that is optional. I can eliminate it and say the doctor recommended I exercise is correct. But if you use that, it will help you organize your ideas. So I recommend that you use that. So let's look at that mistake again. My doctor recommended me to exercise. To, right? We always use to. I want you to help. To is necessary, but in this structure, no to. Remember, it's very important. No to. My doctor recommended that I exercise. That he exercise. No to. A few more things. This action is in present. The doctor recommends that she exercise. We don't change the action after she. Normally, she exercises every day. But we don't put the S here. Simple action, no change. If this action is in past, the doctor recommended that she exercise. You don't change this action to past. The action is always in basic, simple form. Never change this action. Let's talk about the meaning. The actions recommend and suggest are for recommendations. Example, I recommend that they watch our videos. I suggest that they watch our videos. Both are the same idea. And the actions demand and insist are for obligation. Example, I demand that my children clean their rooms. I insist that my children clean their rooms. Let's look closer at some mistakes we might make using this action recommend. First mistake, I recommend him to exercise. Remember, no to. I cannot use to. And change him to he. Use the connector that. It will help you think of it's a new idea. I use he. Okay, I recommend that he. Another mistake, exercises. Now normally, if it's routine, he exercises every day. But this is not a routine. So no S. Keep a simple action after recommend. So correct. I recommend that he exercise. Simple action. Let's practice. He wants to be healthy. What do you recommend?
I recommend that he exercise.
Very good. He wants to be healthy. What do you recommend? Very good. Let's look at some more mistakes people make with recommend. I recommend her to watch TV in English is not correct. No connector to. And we change her to she. I recommend that she watch TV in English. Now, the connector that is optional, so I can eliminate that. I recommend she watch TV in English. Or, I recommend that she watch TV in English is correct. Let's practice. She wants to improve her English. What do you recommend?
I recommend she watch TV in English.
Very good. So she wants to improve her English. What do you recommend? Respond. Very good. Let's look at common mistakes with recommend in the past. Recommended. So, the doctor recommended me to eat more vegetables is not correct. First, no to. And we can't use me, we use I. That I, because we have a new idea after that, we need I eat more vegetables. So correct, the doctor recommended that I eat more vegetables. The action here is in past, recommended, but the second action is in present. Always keep this action in a simple form. Let's practice. Did you go to the doctor yesterday?
Yes, I did.
What did the doctor recommend?
He recommended that I eat more vegetables.
Very good. What did the doctor recommend you do? Very good. I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
Yes, I am.
So where do you suggest that we go for dinner?
I suggest that we go to McDonald's.
Very good. Where do you suggest that we go for dinner? Respond. Very good. Let's practice with demand. So what do you demand?
I demand that my son clean his room.
That's right. What do you demand? Respond. Very good. Let's practice. Do you insist that he go to bed at 9:30?
Yes, I insist that he go to bed at 9:30.
Very good. Do you insist that he go to bed at 9:30? Respond. Very good. Another crazy rule we have with these actions is with emotions. Normally we use I am You are and he is. But here, it's different. We use the action be. And remember, no connector to. No to be, only be. Example, I recommend that you be on time. I suggest that we be more kind to each other. I insist that she be on time. I demand that she be on time. Let's practice. Does your boss demand that you be on time?
Yes, my boss demands that I be on time.
Does your boss demand that you be on time? Respond. Very good. Let's practice. Do you insist that your kids be polite?
Yes, I insist that my kids be polite.
Do you insist that your kids be polite? Respond. Very good. Another crazy rule with these actions, if you want to make it negative, we cannot say, I don't recommend, because I recommend. We put the negative here. The negative is not. So, and again, no to, just not. Example, I recommend that she not eat junk food. I suggest that we not go to that restaurant. I demand that we not stay in this hotel. I insist that they not travel this year. Let's practice. What did the doctor recommend?
The doctor recommended that I not eat junk food.
Very good. Did the doctor recommend that you not eat junk food? Respond. Very good. Also, if we want to use recommend or insist, and we want to speak in general, not about a specific person, we change our action to a continuous form. For a recommendation, I recommend eating vegetables for everyone. Insist. For obligation, I insist on going to that restaurant. Let's practice.
I want to learn English. What do you recommend doing?
I recommend watching TV in English. What do you recommend doing? Very good. Let's practice.
I want to be healthy. What do you recommend doing?
I recommend eating a lot of vegetables. I recommend drinking a lot of water. And I recommend exercising. Do you recommend eating a lot of vegetables? Very good. Do you recommend drinking a lot of water? Very good. Do you recommend exercising? Respond. Very good. Let's practice. I'm tired. I don't feel like going anywhere.
Come on, the weather is nice. I insist on going for a walk.
Do you insist on going for a walk? Respond. Very good. Let's practice. Where should we go on vacation this summer? What do you think about going to Florida?
We went to Florida last year. I insist on going to California this year.
Very good. Do you insist on going to California or going to Florida this summer? Respond. Very good.